Yeah!
Greetings, YouTube, and welcome to the Jaby channel with me, Achara Kirk, and Jaby. Today, we will be looking at a video, as we often do. Why are you laughing?
Hello, people. So basically, I put out a call to I was gonna say like a call to action, but that's not what I did at all. So what I did was I put out a dare, and I said, if you guys feel like compiling all my goof ups in my stupid efforts of me screwing up hard. So let's see what he.
इस देश के खिलाफ हुई दुनिया कितनी निकालोगे हमारी कमियां आज नाचेगा तू जैसे एक छमिया एक छमिया खत्म अब तेरा राज हुआ पीछे देख तेरा बाप खड़ा तुझसे ये लालच तेरा बड़ा आज बोलेंगे हमें इंसाफ मिला आज बोलेंगे हमें इंसाफ मिला तेरे कांडों का नतीजा आया जिसने था सबको रुलाया वो था एक पीला साया कोई भी उससे बच ना पाया ब्रिटिश का हुआ सफाया सारी मुश्किल तू ही लाया कोई ये बात बोलता नहीं क्योंकि जनता को परवाह नहीं कोई ये बात सोचता नहीं उसको कुछ जमता नहीं कोई ये बात मानता नहीं उसका कुछ जाता नहीं उसका कुछ जाता नहीं यार आंखें नीली हो या काली तुम सब पर हम है भारी काले जादू की है भारी तेरी झाट जैसी दाढ़ी तुझे गले ही कटवानी दे शौक है नवाबी देखो ये है तुम्हारी भाभी देखो ये है तुम्हारी भाभी पिछल लसानिया हंस के दिखाती क्या गले लगानी क्या मजाक बनाती क्या नंबर बढ़ानी क्या गुस्सा दिलाती क्या खाएगा गानी क्या पहनूंगा साड़ियाँ तेरी बचकानी हरकतें तुझको डुबाएगी टी सीरीज कंपनी तुझे हराएगी एक दिन इंडिया पूरी दुनिया चलाएगी सबसे पहले तुम्हें धोना सिखाएगी गोरे गालों पे तो थप्पड़ चिपकाएगी तमाशा हमारी समझ में आएगी नजर बट्टू अब कटेगा नजर बट्टू अब मरेगा तू
Let's go.
मैं पागल सा गेमर खुद सबको खसा दूंगा पबजी खिला दूंगा नाच के दिखा दूंगा मजे करा दूंगा नशे करा दूंगा सबको हिला दूंगा इतने सालों से जानते बस इतना ही तुम मानते जो आता तुम्हारे पास में तो भटकाते थे काम से तुम्हारे बारे में मैंने बताया है तभी वो तुम्हारे गाने में आया है अपने की बंदे को झूठा बताया है सच्चे को इतनी प्यार से छुपाया है तुम्हारे एंथम में मेरा भी नाम है व्यूज पाने का ये सही काम है मैं भी पुराना खिलाड़ी हूँ कर बेटा भूखा शिकारी हूँ तूने डोनेट किया उसके लिए थैंक यू लेकिन ये जो तेरा छोटा टट्टा है ना इसको संभाल के रखा कर बहुत फुदकता रहता है ये
These motherfuckers have like 1.4 billion people in India.
अब कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा ना दिमाग में लगा है संग कितनी करूं तेरी जंग बदलेगा तू कितने रंग ये मेरी नहीं है जंग तेरे चेहरे में कुछ गड़बड़ पढ़ने के चक्कर में मत पड़ तूने बेटा जी पढ़कर तूने मेरे पास कान खोलकर हुआ कितना छोड़ता हमारी जनता मांगता कैसे ख्वाब देखता है नियम को तोड़ता इतना ही तू भूखा है हमारी भाषा सीख ले जीत ले हमारी जनता छीन ले हमारी जनता छीन ले
Become a whole kerfuffle on the internet. The first time I heard about it was from Philip DeFranco. He mentioned how T-Series is about to overtake Pewdiepie, and I watched a little bit of PewDiePie's reaction, and it's like there's a lot of jokes flying, and especially at the expense of Indians and T-Series videos and whatnot. There's this whole kind of war on the internet, and it's as much as it looks offensive to anybody who is like seeing these jokes and seeing what people are, the shots that people are taking at T-Series videos and whatnot, at the end of it all, it's all in the service of benefiting T-Series, to be honest. It's like, it's just giving more exposure to T-Series. And PewDiePie himself, I don't think like he actually minds.
No, I don't think so at all. Like, watching him, he's just having a grand old time. They're two completely different channels.
Right. Well, that's number one, is like you're talking about a company versus an individual.
Yeah.
Like, while PewDiePie does have a team of people that help him out, from what I understand, like I know he's at least got an editor. He's a person unto himself, and so as an individual, he is still king of YouTube in terms of subscriber count and views and all that stuff. But in terms of like, now we got a music company that's over. It's like, yes, T-Series will become the #1 channel, but they're like Vivo. Is that the name of the company?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
We watched the H3H3 podcast where they were talking about this.
So someone on Twitter had mentioned the H3H3 podcast to me, and what I'm seeing is there's a lot of people who are simply ignorant.
Yes.
And that's going to happen. You're going to get those, especially from the States, people who are like making fun of it and whatnot. And honestly, I was ignorant to India and Bollywood myself for a long time because, as I've mentioned many times, like I tried to get into it, and my first exposure was that Akshay Kumar film, Chowdy Chuk to China, and I just was like, you know what, this is no. And I was turned off for a long time up until late 2015, and then I was like, oh wow, like I've been missing out on stuff, and I opened my mind up to it. You know, obviously 100% more than I was before. I've obviously learned so much in the past 2.5, 3 years. So what I'm saying is, I think that given enough time, with T-Series eventually taking the top, you're going to see a lot more people opening themselves up to it. On H3H3's video, what was frustrating me about him was he had no context for anything he was watching. Like, he was watching something from Vishal Rupam and going like, this is just random violent scenes. And it's like, yeah, well, if you bothered to like actually read the description, you'd see that these are clips from the movie, and it would make sense in the context of the film. And without knowing the culture and knowing everything there is to know about like just how important music is in India and music videos and whatnot, and how music is part of just the entertainment scene, like obviously it's not going to resonate with you, and that doesn't discount it. And he was talking about the masculinity portrayal in India, and I'm like, dude, like you are not doing your research. And it's like, it was kind of painful because I actually like Ethan. I like H3H3 because he actually tends to do his research.
Yeah.
And this is where he is dramatically fallen short. He, in the video, kind of like tries to clear himself, going, you know, I'm not really hating on Bollywood or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but you kind of did. Like, you're making fun, and I get he makes fun of everybody, but he usually makes fun after doing research.
Yeah, that's what I found the most surprising, because I haven't watched too many things from H3H3, but like you said, I have always felt that he comes from a place of being knowledgeable and having done his research. So it was such a surprise to me that he came into it pretty much
using stereotypes.
Ignorant. Yeah, and using stereotypes. And I think his wife was the only one who was like vaguely on track.
His guy in the back room was also like, no, Bollywood's got some good stuff, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, he was the only one who was like really dissing it, and you know, and his wife was all like, yeah, but it's, you know, it's like Vivo. So if you think about it, it's like T-Series has so much music, and globally people love music, and especially in India, you know, there's a huge population of people, and people love music. It makes sense that it's going to take over PewDiePie, who's just one guy.
I think that this, you know, whatever you want to call it, this battle to the top.
Faux battle.
I think that this only serves to benefit both parties.
Yeah.
It benefits PewDiePie and it benefits T-Series. It's giving more exposure to T-Series, and people are like rallying behind PewDiePie, going, oh, we gotta help him out and get him more subscribers. It's just benefiting both. And there are people who want to see PewDiePie taken down, so they're gonna subscribe to T-Series, and half of those people, or maybe less, are going to get exposed to music they would not have paid attention to otherwise, and the other half aren't gonna pay attention. They're just subscribed just to, you know, backhand. That's not the right word, but just to basically like shit on PewDiePie. That's the only reason they're subscribing to T-Series. So you're getting all kinds of people involved here. And for me, it was neat to see T-Series mentioned on Philip DeFranco. I'm like, wow, like the reach is so much further than it was just a year ago. Like, to me, this is cool. And ideally, it will loosen things up and make people like kind of do away with their former preconceived notions of Bollywood, of Indian cinema, and open themselves up to it. That's my hope from all of this. I hope that there's a positive net result from all of this. That's my feeling.
But it's like people say, you know, any publicity is good publicity.
For the most part, unless you're Kevin Spacey, yes. Like,
yeah, that's true. I mean, if Kim Kardashian can turn around a sex tape into building an empire, then, you know.
Yeah, and this is fairly, you know, innocuous.
Yeah.
This is innocent. Like, there's really, and I mean, I understand that there's a lot of people who are throwing some nasty comments around, I wouldn't be perturbed by that. That's like firstly, that's like you're dealing with ignorant people on the internet who are hiding behind a keyboard. Like that's gonna happen, right? So that's number one. And number two, that phase is gonna die out. Eventually, what you're gonna see is it's gonna level out, and people are gonna. I think new people are gonna have an interest in Indian cinema or Indian music at least that haven't had that interest before. You know, to say the least, this is gonna have a positive result in the end. And you're seeing a lot of interesting changes. Like there was the whole KSI versus, was it Jake Paul? I forget. I was only half paying attention to this, but there was like Logan Paul. Sorry, there was like a fight happening, like an actual physical fight that happened, and it was like unprecedented. It was new, and so like there's that. And then I feel like this is another thing. It's like it's unprecedented. Like Indian cinema is now truly global. Like it's already been global, but like now you're people in Western areas that didn't really pay attention, now they gotta pay attention. They're like, well, okay, what is this? One of the things that H3H3 said that annoyed me was, this came out of nowhere. And it's like, no, it didn't. This has been there. You just weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Which happens all the time. Like, I didn't know who Philip DeFranco was for the longest time, and I check him out, and he's got 5 million subscribers. Unbox Therapy, he's got like, 5-10 million subscribers. And it's like, I didn't know who these people were, but there they were, building up their fan base. Just because you didn't know who they were, doesn't mean they came out of nowhere. Specifically to the H3H3 video, like, I was obviously disappointed because I like him, but that happens sometimes. Like, I know that it's even more offensive for people who are in India and like H3H3, or who are Indian and like H3H3. But like I had to deal with that too sometimes. Arnold Schwarzenegger, for instance, when I was a little kid, not that little, but like I was younger, and this is around the time Terminator 3 came out. There was an article about him, and in the article, he was asked about like how he felt about Jackie Chan and how he felt about like these martial arts people, and he goes, "Oh well, those guys are smaller, so they have to do that because they can't be bulky like me." Like, he was basically shitting on Asians. He was shitting on Asian action stars because they were, like, infringing on his, his territory of being the action hero. And it's like, dude, like,
right.
That's not cool. And Shaquille O'Neal, he made fun of Yao Ming on the basketball court, like saying ching chong ching, like making messed up sounds at him. I forgive after a certain point, but it's like, in the moment, it's like, why would you do that? Like, I thought you were awesome.
Yeah.
These things happen sometimes, and it's up to you whether you want to forgive and eventually move on and come back to their stuff after that has passed, or if you want to completely write them off forever. I tend not to want to write people off forever. I just try to like give it time and let myself cool off and then come back, because inevitably that will pass.
Right.
I mean, if it's a thing that they're,
if they're always racist and bigoted, then I think I'm gonna be like, you know what, peace. Yeah, I'm not into you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. If they hold steadfast to that belief, indefinitely, then obviously that's different. I wouldn't worry about people being salty for too long. Once T-Series passes PewDiePie, I think this whole debacle will be done with. But it's fun seeing the videos. Like, there's a counter watching the T-Series counter like go up and up and up and up. I'm like, this is cool. Like, it's so dramatic. It's so nonsensical and dramatic because they're not even competing in the same league. It's like they're not competing against each other. They're completely different companies. At the end of the day, what you have now is T-Series is the king of music on YouTube, and PewDiePie will be the king of just being a single individual with a YouTube channel. I don't know if T-Series' views surpasses Vivo's, but they are certainly the most subscribed channel on YouTube in terms of music.
Yeah,
so
that's interesting.
I haven't bothered to research that. I probably should have, now that I'm saying this out loud. But anyway, we're gonna conclude this video here. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be honest, be verbose. What do you think about all this? How are you feeling? And what do you think of Ajara Kirk? I just thought I'd throw that in there. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our other reactions, reviews, and short films and random videos. I'm Jaby Koi. This is
Ajara Kirk.
Peace out.